Alright, you guys, it is, what is it? It's like 11 o'clock-ish. I'm about to do a round of shooting, and I've done a couple videos. Oh, well. Sorry, let me... we've done one video on YouTube, and then because I had rock playing, I had some classic rock playing in the background, YouTube's like, you can't play with that music on, we don't allow it because we're communists. I mean, we don't like you. No, it's just a pain, the copyrights. I'm like, I'm not trying to I just... Anyway, making a cool video. I thought a chill video of shooting arrows. Anyway, I wanted to do kind of a tutorial style, so this is going to be a really rough, unedited version of this. So deal with it, okay? Oh, my release, I already grabbed it. So again, we're shooting the Ultra View hinge right now. Still, I have asked them on this. I'm curious because hunting, that's a no-go for hunting. So far, this release has been awesome. I've really liked it. I've learned how to command the shot. I've learned how to let it break. Surprisingly, yes, there's a chip right here. I've let it fly out of my hand because I'm still getting used to handheld releases. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and take Bear Legion here. We've got our Nemesis, at least the Nemesis arrows. At least this one is. We've got a bunch of different arrows. Yes, so I almost missed the target because I had my... That's the thing with the slider is always double check where your yardage is set before you shoot. We'll turn the light on. Why not? Turn the light on if you can see that. Just a little bit of light. Okay, so there's a few different things. So quick tutorial on just basic shooting is for a compound. I've got this little rope here that helps contain. My hand goes through. It's a braided rope. There's 550 braids, other things like that. I can change the tightness. It's kind of where I want it. My bow is set such that right now I'm holding on just both sides of, this is the riser. So if you don't know, so both sides of the riser, I'm just letting that kind of rest between my pointer finger, kind of in the crotch of your hand here. It's just resting on almost just couple points, and it's balanced. It's balanced. So I've got a stabilizer. It kicks out a little to the side. I adjusted that, and with weights on the front, 2 ounces in the front, 2 in the back, so it's pretty level. That balances without my quiver. So with my quiver, I may swing that further out just to create more, because now I'm doing it, it's now wanting to lean that side. So that's why we're bringing it more down to center of gravity here, and that's a good balance. So there's kind of your first little, a balanced bow makes it easier to hold on target and makes it steadier. I'm sorry to rest of my arrows are kind of in my way here, so I'm trying to get centered on the video or the camera. So I like to hook with these. There's different techniques with a hinge release. There's no safety on it, and the way it activates really quickly just is as I pull and I pivot, you'll hear a click. There's a click, and then it just releases. Come on. Now it doesn't want to come unhinged. There you go. And it releases like that, where it just releases completely. And on these, if that'll focus, there's a little bit of a groove on that. That is the hinge click. It's a mechanical click. Or like it's mechanical, but it's the whole thing is mechanical, but that click is manufactured into the piece of metal. So it's not adjustable. It is set in place. It's there always. I can't get away from it, which I ordered it like that because I wanted that little warning, just letting me know how close I am. And that way, once it goes through a click, if I'm hunting and I need to break the shot a little faster, I know I'm close and I can do that accurately. I was breaking shots the other day, posted it, and I had a 1-inch creep at 40 yards, and so a really accurate release. Anyway, so that way you don't want it to hinge when you release, when you're drawn back. So the way when you draw back and let down, you just got to make sure you're holding it right. So there's more videos on that. Okay, so really quick on basics of drawing. All right. Part of that is when I let it fly out of my hands, this is not indestructible, so it doesn't work exactly the same anymore because I did it twice. Okay. When I draw, I don't like to draw way up here, right? Because what if I pull this wrong and it clicks and I launch an arrow? I shoot in my backyard. I don't want to launch it across the neighborhood. I'm shooting a target. I don't want to lose arrows. So if your bow is so overpowered that you're having to... Number one, you don't need that much power. Like I shoot this as a 63-pound bow, and this is a stiffer, heavier arrow with my gold tip 100 XTs, These are 340 spine, and they're like 8.9 grains per inch. These are not crazy heavy. These guys blitz through an elk. Like, they'll pass through like it didn't touch anything. You don't, and I'm shooting 63 pounds. I'm shooting like 260-ish feet per second. With this bow, I'm probably shooting maybe even less, or with this arrow, this heavier arrow. You don't need much. So you don't need as much power as some of the industry. This goes with rifles too. You don't need as much as a lot of people tell you that you need. It can be nice for shooting a mile with a rifle, or but it isn't needed. The reality is it's not as big of a deal. So, okay, so when I draw, so 63 pounds, I can point directly at the target, and I can draw straight back, and that is totally comfortable. And I'm looking at, with my new bow setup, I'll be going to 60 pounds because I'm shooting 100 arrows a day-ish, between 90, let's see, yesterday was 90, day before was 95, 75 the day before, 100, 120, just like I'm shooting a lot of arrows and shooting competition, and so drawing a lot and a lot and a lot wears a lot on your shoulder as you hold the bow, and a lot of it's just the holding weight of the bow, a lot on the pulling, and then when you're at full draw, there's a lot of different, a lot of this is relative to your body and what's comfortable for you, and it just takes shooting a lot to understand what works for you. One thing that I do, and different releases too. So I've traditionally shot a wrist strap trigger release, which I love. This True Fire, it has been money. It's been an awesome release. I've killed an elk with it 2 years ago, killed a turkey with it. No, I had a different release when I killed the turkey, and I shot a competition last weekend. Did really for the bow, for like shooting my first NFAA, like American 900. I feel like I did really well. I've learned how to break shots on that really cleanly, and I feel really comfortable with that release. Like, it's right at home. So the thing that I get is that this release gets that surprise shot and has trained me to be more accurate. So that's the one thing that's more secure. This is a little more accurate. Why am I so random, you guys? I'm bunny trailing on other stuff. So anyway, when you're at full draw, so what I'm saying is the way you hold it against your face, where it's called anchoring. Where do you anchor along your face? Where should it be? I am not a complete expert on that, and it's all trial and error. What works for you? Okay, the trigger release makes you hold it so that I kind of put the crotch of my chin in the crotch of my hand here, and when I'm holding it, like my earlobe, I'm way back. I'm way so far back. My earlobe, though, goes in between my knuckles, which is weird. And then the string, right now, the way it's set, the string goes through the corner of my mouth, and it doesn't quite. The string angle doesn't allow for me to, and where my peep is, to get my nose on the string. I would prefer to have my nose touching the string, just on top of it while I'm looking down the peep sight. But my peep sight's a little high. I just barely changed my form. So it used to work. I used to be able to put my nose on the string, but that's because I used to anchor a little bit farther back, and it was hard to be consistent. So with this one, I anchor in here, and the way I usually anchor is I am, like, my knuckle does kind of touch towards the back of my jaw, and that's pretty close. I'll when I draw back, I'll think about it some more, maybe point stuff out. But when you're at full draw and you're back here, elbow high, pull. Your elbow should be pulling back, straight back, right? And you should be pushing forward with your bow. Just that pushing and pulling, you're going to hit what's called a back wall, and each bow has a different back wall. That's how I draw. There's my draw cycle. So that's a back wall. Mine's a little bit spongy on this bear. So so when I'm drawing back, I guess I'm a little farther back. So the string goes to the corner of the mouth. The space between my middle and pointer finger knuckle, like that, the gap between, that's where it goes right in the jaw, like the corner of my jaw, the back of my jaw. And then my earlobe does touch my knuckle. And now those are indicating points that I just naturally have developed as I've shot a lot. I don't grip tightly. Oops, I'm letting it loose here a little. Don't grip tightly like that. Don't torque. That'll torque the bow left and right. That'll cause your shot to be different each time. So you want to have a relaxed hand, and that rope will help catch it, so you don't have to worry about it. And you can guide your bow towards the end. So I just be relaxed, and now that I've held it for a minute, I slowly rotate this hinge. It clicks, and then it fires. So, and then just relatively kind of pointing at the middle of the target, but. So I'm a little farther back, and that, for me, I want to be up closer. I want to be a little closer. I want the peep a little lower so I can put my nose on the string and be able to just anchor a little bit closer, like closer up here. But the whole process of just not jumping. Don't jump the trigger. If you did rifle, the same thing. You just when you're shooting, period, your shots are going to be more accurate when it's a surprise shot, and when you're able to just release natural, slow, just smooth, more of a meditative, and that's going to be a lot more accurate, and it's going to allow you to not just be more accurate, but calm in a situation. Like buck fever is a real thing when you're hunting and you're out and you're getting a shot to maybe kill an animal. And I say maybe kill, if there's so many variables that, the animal could be spooked at the last second. That's another bunny trail. But there's a lot of adrenaline that happens when you're hunting. When you're about to kill an animal, that's a big deal, emotionally and everything. And so there's a lot that gets in the way of being calm. And so making sure that you practice in a calm manner, shooting greater distances. There's some other tips there, but just being slow and relaxed through your shots, even at 11. I'm only 11 yards in the basement. Actually, I'm 11 yards. I'm like 8 yards, 9 yards right now where I'm standing. So it's just being calm. So really quickly, I'll just take you through my sequence one last time, and we'll call that. But if you guys have any questions about archery, let me know. I love to shoot. It is one of my therapies, I guess you could call it, is just coming down and just shooting my bow and shooting outside at distance, shooting at tournaments, shooting hunting. It's just peaceful. And anyway, so I don't put my bow on target and then draw it. I do come a little bit above it right here, and I just have this sequence as I drop. So I draw it, and then I draw, and what I do is I hold my pins above the target, and I slowly kind of come into position, nice and easy, just ease into it methodically, and then I move my thumb out of the way, get my 3 fingers, and here start to rotate, and before I really start to rotate, I drop my pins down into the target, and then I settle on the target. And that almost makes me jump. You're like, I don't know if you noticed that click. I blinked for the click. I'm still getting used to it. I've put nearly 300 arrows. That still makes me kind of, when I'm not truly thinking about it, and then it clicks, it makes me almost jump. Anyway, so there's a quick little how-to on just like a really quick how-to on shooting, and everything again with form and those things. They're relative. There's a ton of people. The guys with Ultra View, like Crispy and others, they have some tutorials on shooting. Knock on Archery is a great for YouTube. Go to YouTube and Knock on Archery. They have a lot of stuff there too that goes more in depth, and you get tips from a pro and a guy who teaches people. So anyway, that's just a quick little how-to on stuff. And yeah, love you guys. Come shoot. No, not in my basement. We'll go shoot somewhere else, but I would love to shoot with more people, and I'd love to spread what archery is. It's awesome. So anyway, hope you guys are doing really well this morning and killing it and loving it, and go get it. We'll see you guys.